I just would like to review and say this out loud. This guy is the definition of cracked. I mean,
Cracked.
when it comes to raw energy and
Yeah.
output and systems, I'm not sure there's another person on planet Earth who does it like our guy Cody does. It's continually impressive. 500 LinkedIn posts here. Take that podcast, turn it into 100 videos there. Grow your newsletter. Send them to this B2B offer. I mean, everything that this guy has going on in his pocket is truly impressive. And my thought is that actually what he is today is what we need to become. It's what we all need to become in this era of AI marketing. Is that too much?
No, that's absolutely fair. Everyone basically needs to be the version of what Cody is for a cracked out marketer in probably 3 to 6 months with how he is operating. And we'll get him on the show. And he is the definition of absolutely dialed up to 11 on all things marketing. He is in it, and he is one of the people that is actually doing the things. He's not just talking about the things. He's in the weeds doing it.
Now, 3 to 6 months, man, it seems fast. I mean, some of us are just some of us are just moving over from chat to Claude.
Yeah.
If that's your thing.
Yeah.
Others of us are just getting into Claude code, spinning up some of these systems. But I think that you are right. I hope the timeline is a little bit longer, but we all need to become exactly like this guy, the Superman marketer himself. I'm going to welcome him into the show, and then you kick this thing off. Everybody welcome Superman marketer and co-founder of Graph.com, Cody Schneider. Cody, get in here.
How you doing? You need some walkout music when it like drops, like you do this song and it like goes off in the background.
That's
a couple
coming.
Horns as well.
That's
How y'all doing?
We need your baseball walk-up song where it's just whatever one you want.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
You're coming up to bat and you got
Exactly.
Shania Twain, possibly. What's your go-to?
How'd you know?
You seem like a Shania Twain guy.
I love it.
That's awesome. Cody,
cool. Where do you guys want to start, man?
Oh my gosh, we have so much to start. You probably have 15 agents running like right now.
I just woke up, so they're not fired up yet, but typically, yes.
Can you take us through initially how you're scaling up some of these agents, what you're doing here? When I initially connected with you last, I mean, you had 5 agents rocking and rolling. I mean, you probably have 17 at this point. Can you talk me through a little bit and then what they're actually doing?
Yeah, totally. So like how I'm talking about it or thinking about it now is like all of the middle work. So me touching a keyboard and a mouse is now I'm trying to hand off to an agent entirely. Wow. So my job is like an idea, like the middle work gets handed off, and then the like polish is me, right? Basically, like I'm turning into like a curator, and all of that middle work, like there's tooling around that I'm incorporating. But high level, like for anybody that's listening, you can basically do all work now via APIs and Claude code. And like, this is how easy this is to set up, right? So it's like literally I make a folder like on my local machine, and then I spin up Claude code within that folder. I create what's called an environment file. This all sounds technical. It's not. You can do this literally in 5 minutes, like what I'm describing. And in that environment file, you just add all the API keys to your entire stack. So like if you're an e-com, right, it could be Shopify, your Google Search Console, your Facebook ads, your Google ads. With that, like you can basically like imagine a workflow, right, where you're like, cool, I have my Google ads running in the background. I want to spin up a new campaign. I want to create a new landing page that I'm sending them to. So that gets sent out to the Shopify API to create that landing page. I then tell the agent, okay, take that landing page into the ads that we just created. I want you to put that into those ads, right? I'm just like conversationally telling it what I'm wanting to do. And like literally how I do this. So I use this application called Super Whisper. It's a transcription software that's like on my device. Shout out Neil. He's the homie. Like how, like, I'm just literally like jockeying agents is how I think about it. So I have like 5 of them working on tasks in the background. And then once I figure out like where this extends to, just to like cast the vision of this, like once I figure out, hey, this is a repeatable process or a task that I'm doing over and over again. Now, at that point, that's where I'm shipping an agent. And when you hear agent, just think like employee with small scope of work that does a specific thing. So to give an example of this, like I'm about a week out from this. I'm going to have an agent that's like entirely running our Facebook ads. Okay. So like, let's walk through what that actually breaks down into. So it's basically doing research off of social, like what are the pain points and the outcomes that my target customer wants. It's then pulling that information in. It's making creative based on that. So using Nano Banana, we also like have it just like writing React code. So like writing like physical code, and then we export that as a PNG. Yep. And then it takes those ads, it uploads those into Facebook ads. And then I'm using Graft, which is my company. And the reason that we built this is the biggest problem is like you have to basically create a data stream. Otherwise, the agent is going to try to interact directly with the API, and you're just going to run into challenges. It's going to hit API rate limits. You're going to have pagination issues on the data where like it thinks it's interacting with everything that you asked for, but in reality, it's only interacting with 5%. And so it's like making decisions that are like incorrect. And then the other piece is just like you end up having like bloat within the context window. Like imagine pulling in, a million rows of Shopify data. You're like, this, right? And so what we built is basically like we build a data pipeline, a data warehouse, and we built an AI data analyst agent that you can call via an MCP right into Claude Code, right? Yeah. And I can like analyze that data in real time. But again, to come back to this agent piece of like it running my Facebook ads. So I can publish content. I can analyze what's working and what's not working. The losers get automatically turned off. The winners automatically get promoted to their own ad sets with their own dedicated budget. And then that influences the next round of content that's created. It goes out and it searches on the internet for more context. And it's just a loop. Yeah. That's an agent, right? It's just the jobs or the processes that we've done historically, but turned into a repeatable thing. It's just like what you would do with like an SOP where I'd be like, hey, I'm going to delegate this to my team member. I'm now instead delegating that to an agent. And that's kind of the whole high level here. But everybody I know that's way fucking smarter than me, this is how they're thinking about this. This is how they're approaching this. And this is how they're like deploying this. And this is like, I don't think people understand how aggressively this is going to change the fabric of work as we know it. It's also just like, everybody's like, how do I get started in this? And once you have this aha moment of like, okay, my work is now going to happen through the APIs. Like I'm just like telling like this agent, the Claude Code agent, right? Because that's all it is. It's like, it's a harness for their agent harness for their flagship models. I'm telling it, go do this outcome. I want you to go do this thing. And then I'm just letting it work right in the background. My job is to kind of guide it and like give my insight. As time goes on, you build up this infrastructure too, like this knowledge base within your own, local stack. So that folder, like I have all these Claude MD files. I have all these workflows. I have the descriptions of my company. I have the outcomes that we're going for. I have, everything starts to accumulate there. So that what this turns into is it's like how I think about everything related to my business lives within that. I also have all the data access to my business. And so then I can just be like, hey, what am I not thinking about that I should be based off of all the context that you have?
Yeah. Blind spot analysis.
Give me suggestions, right? And like guide the organization. Again, this right now we're in the adoption process of this, like all of the, people that are, I would say like technically adjacent, like this is like what's happening. Where this goes to, they're like, so for example, I'm doing a PR sprint, right? So I think I told you this already, but doing a PR sprint, had it scrape 2,000 podcasts, or I had to research 2,000 podcasts, scrape all of the emails that are associated with them, and then cold emailed them. So I used Instantly AI to like this whole workflow was just built by Claude Code, everything I'm describing. Validated the emails with Million Verifier, put them into Instantly AI to cold email them. And then I built an agent that basically is like book an intro call like with me. That's like its goal. So I was like, cool, maybe we'll get a handful. I just need some data. It got 112 positive responses off of the 2,000 that I reached out to. It booked 35 of them on my calendar last week. I was like, fuck, this worked too well. I actually was like, oh my God, like I have to now do 35 calls, right? Like I have to that is just for PR. God. And then, again, it dropped the ball on 90 of them. And like looking at this, I'm like, oh my, this can be improved basically. So anyways, where I'm going to this is like the joke, that keeps going on internally at my company is like, friends don't let friends do N8N. Just like leapfrog that, you go straight to code, because the reason for this is that it's so much more malleable. And when you're building personal software for yourself and personal agents for yourself, like as you get feedback from the world, you can make these modifications. So an example, like that agent that was doing the cold email, it responded instantly. And people were like, oh, it's a bot, right? And I'm like, oh, I need to put a limit on it. So it's like now it has every 45 to 60 minutes is like pick a random number and respond within that time period when that positive response comes back. The other thing it fucked up on it, like it agreed to buy this guy, like 2 of this guy's books for me to come on the show. And so like we had to put like again, it's actually so interesting to see like what it did. I'm over here and I'm like, this is the most amazing thing in the world. But with all that said, to kind of take a step back, like if you're an employee, if you're a business owner, you're listening to this, like, dude, this is going to change the fabric of how you run your company entirely. Like all of this has happened in the last like 6 weeks too. Like everything I just described and talked about, like 6 weeks, like I'm technical-ish. I could write up like a Python script, right? And like maybe spin up like a simple web app. But like everything that I just described has happened in the last 6 weeks. And now I'm at this point, I'm like, I don't know if we'll ever need to hire like go-to-market people, like full stop. Like I'll probably have like just an absolutely gangster ass, like, you know, account executive who like all he does is just hunt whales. And then the rest of it is just going and basically. So anyways, this is kind of the power with this. On the e-com side, I think it's just like these things that used to be agencies that you would pay, whatever, 35 grand a month for SEO. Like you literally can do all of that work in probably 2 hours with like a Cloud Code subscription, access to your data, and then the ability to publish content to your Shopify or whatever CMS that you're using. So happy to dissect any of those pieces. The employee piece. So that just to put this last piece on the employee side, the thing that I'm advocating for is like, you now have, if you figure this out, you have leverage with the company that you're going to. Like, yo, you're not hiring me, bro. You're hiring me and all of the agents that I have in my stack. Like my friend, this literally just happened, right? That another startup got poached by another company. And half the reason they brought him is because like he has his own like agent stack and personal software. So as soon as he plugs into their stuff, right? Like he hits the ground running day one and starts making impact for the company. But it's also like they just hired 15 people to come in and do this work, right? And so suddenly he has this leverage point where it's like, you negotiated a higher salary. This is going to enable you to do that at these companies because you are more valuable. So anyways, 2 different ways to think about this, whether you're both like the business owner or the employee. So happy to answer any questions or dive deeper on anything.
So I just want to underscore this because we've talked about this many times, but I think you are one of the few people, Cody, who are you're like the embodiment of it happening and that aha, euphoric type moment and it rolling out inside of your company. This needs to happen for every employee and every business owner, but especially on the employee side. Being able to bring all of that to bear and all of that to the table makes you so valuable because it's just like you're saying, you're not just being hired yourself for your skills. It's you and your team. It's you and your team of agents and capabilities.
And it's also your expertise that's captured in code and in knowledge. So like, you know, I have deep expertise in like go-to-market and like growth, right? Like I've spent the last 7 years of my life, like working on like with companies that it's like, how do you get out your first, 10, 100,000 customers, right? So all of that used to be trapped, in my mind. It's like to communicate that. That's like, now this exists in a GitHub repo. And like anybody can go and access this on my team. They can see how this functions. They can query against it to like learn what's like going on. All the initiatives, like if they want context, I'm like, why are we even doing this? Like that's documented, that's written down, that's in a place. And so I think that it just creates this like uniformity of information. And then on the employee side too, like if you're a founder and you're trying to roll this out to your organization, literally just like have a crash course where it's like, cool, like here's how to set this up. Like what I just said, where it's like get Cloud Code, folder on your local desktop, like put all the API keys in and like show them how they can like, for example, like the easiest one to do is like brainstorm an email, write the email, publish it as a draft in the Klaviyo. Yeah. And then just have them see like, holy shit, like I just made an email as a draft in Klaviyo. Yeah. And all that work just happened entirely on some. And then what happens from that is like naturally you'll see somebody like rise above the rest as like basically an advocate or using this tooling, and then just shine a spotlight on them. Everybody wants to have notoriety and like within the community that they're a part of. And this is like, it doesn't matter what community this is, whether it's like church or your bowling league or your work, like you want to be known within that space. And so like, I just think about it, like, how do I incentivize people to actually do this? Right. It's like you got time that you can give them. So it's like time off. You can give them more money, or like a requirement on money. Like you need to spend X amount of tokens per month. I found that to not work because what people end up doing is they're just like spreading a spreadsheet in a column and then like putting it back together to hit their token limits. What you have to end up doing is being like, oh, cool. Trevor like went and he did this crazy workflow. We're going to do a fireside chat, 30 minutes long. He just talks through everything that he did, but suddenly he gets notoriety within the organization. The boss is like, being like, yo, like, look at this. This is amazing. Super fascinating. Wow. And it puts that incentive out there to where like other team members are like, oh, like I can do stuff like this. I want notoriety within my community. And then it creates this flywheel of adoption within the organization. So anyways, just random stuff that I've seen over the last like couple of weeks and talking to friends. So.
Wow. Chris, I don't know about you, but this immediately inspires me to want to get into Claude Code and just start building.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been doing great stuff in Claude Code recently, and this just made me feel like I'm not even close. I feel like I just hit 10% of my total capacity I made a presentation the other day and I was like, yeah, good job, dude. And I need to figure it out. I need to figure it out ASAP.
It's way easier than you think. Like, again, what I just described, like you can get started in like 5 minutes and then just like literally ask it. Like, what do you need from me? I'm trying, like, describe the outcome you're trying to get.
Yeah.
And then be like, I'm trying to get here. Like, I think this is the biggest learning curve too, for a lot of people. They try to be prescriptive of like, do this and like unbound yourself and be like, I'm trying to make this outcome.
Operate.
How do we get there? Make a plan for me to get there, or ask me questions if you need more context. And then it's just going to like literally like do that work for you. And I think this is like everybody that's like freaking out about OpenClaw. This is like why they're like, oh my God. But it's because you can kind of give this like amorphous task, that's not specific. It's not discrete. And then it goes and figures it out. But if you're a business owner, like, the jobs to be done that need to happen. Yeah. So you could be like, I need to do this thing. Like, I need more organic traffic, right? I have a catalog, I have a SKU catalog with 10,000 items, right? Like, what collection pages should I be building with the cross sections of the products that are in my catalog so that I can get more organic traffic, right? And like, just be like, Claude, here's the resources. Like, here's my data source to look at it. Here's access to my Shopify to look at it. Like, and here's access to my Search Console data and my Google Analytics data to go and see the actual like traffic data. Tell me where the opportunities are. And then create an action plan that enables me to go and actually like make movement off of this. And that's literally it. It's that simple. And then just like let it work. But I think that, again, do that first. You're going to naturally come to this moment where you're like, oh shit, like this is something I do weekly. Like, you can even just audit, like, what did I do this week that was the same as last week? And you're like, cool, can I turn that into an agent? And I'm like, Claude, can I make an agent out of this? And what I use this company called railway.com. It has a really robust API, and it enables you to basically just like spin up a server really easily. You can harden that server from a security standpoint as well. And then also it's like, all my data analysis now too, where it's like, I go and aggregate spreadsheets or any of that. Like, I'll do that within Railway. I'll just like spin up a Postgres database, like either locally or in Railway. And I'll be like, Claude, I'm trying to like do this data analysis. Here's like what I'm trying to get answered. Like, go and interact with that database for me to do that analysis. Like, I had the epiphany this morning. I was like touching a UI. I had to do something in an email list. And I was like, I haven't touched like the front end of a software
That's
product.
Wild.
I haven't touched it in probably like 2 weeks. And I'm like, I never want to touch it again. Like, this is actually how we're making like software purchasing decisions. Like, I'm personally, and our team is making this. How robust is the API? And it's also changing things. Like, for example, Salesforce used to be this clunky software because like it can do anything, but it would feel like that. And people would pick HubSpot because the UI was better. That has totally shifted because now Salesforce is suddenly in this position that's unbelievable because you can do anything with the API.
I see.
In HubSpot, it's like if I can do a button click in the UI, the front end, but I can't do that same action via the API. Like, literally, I'm like, I'm not going to use that product. Full stop. Yeah. Like, I'm just not going to do that. And then if you fast forward this, where does that go then? It's like, okay, well, my agents are just going to be making decisions now. So we have to like think about like, this is like, we literally had this conversation like 2 weeks ago. Like, do we even build a front end for our product? Like, do we just build this like all back end infrastructure, give it to your agent, and then your agent is like, it's just a tool for your agent. So it can go and do its work, right? And again, I just want to preface this too. Like, if we had this conversation like 8 weeks ago, I'd be like, agents are bullshit. I've never seen like a use case that's like really specific on my work.
Well, I'm glad that you bring this up, because I know my own experience and a number of people's experience is that like they get the agent to do this or that and it sucks and it doesn't do the thing right. And so that's my question behind like what you're describing is like, man, I've had so many like mistakes and didn't do it right.
Totally.
I'm like trying to interact with it. Like how do we like add layers to make this thing hum like the machine that you're describing?
Totally. I think the first piece is like, there was all of these like agent builders, but they were very inflexible, right? And in contrast, now it's like I can do work with Claude Code, like in tandem, right? We just went through this process together, and I can show it what I'm trying to get, like from an outcome standpoint. I'm like, cool, now make that into a process. Like I just taught you how to do this work, like just how you would teach an employee, right? Yeah. And I'm like, cool, like make that into a process that we can repeat in the future. Okay, now automate that. Can I take that all the way and just automate this entirely, basically? So as like to give you an example, I'm like going ham on LinkedIn right now. We're in a growth sprint, right, for the company, and so like we're building these like I did X for GTM engineering with Claude Code. Yeah. Here's the process to do it. Here's this Notion document. I don't even build the Notion documents before, right? Like I just like let them go viral, and then I build the document after. Like I've already done it, but it's like I just don't build the. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of writing these Notion documents. Like, let's give it my Notion API key and let's work together to build this document structure out. So we built out this whole tutorial. And then I'm like, cool, make that into a skill that we can reuse in the future. Now I literally I'm like, cool, here's the post, like go build the Notion document. Here's a couple changes. Sweet. Now, like, go give it to the agent that's going to comment back, like, here's the document. And like that just turns into lead gen for us. And like that is basically like, again, like it's like multiple VAs. I'd have to think about things like this is just like it can be happening. And so I think that's the big piece is like you can like show it what you're looking for. Also, I think the other side of it is like it's just gotten to the point now. It's like it's so smart. It's like it's just the idiot savant. But the language that you have becomes your superpower. Like the vocabulary and deep under technical knowledge that you have becomes the most valuable asset that you own. And what I mean by this is like, if I go to this thing and I'm like, yo, write a blog post about X, right? It's going to write the most mid piece of content that you've ever seen. In contrast, if I'm like, hey, I want your persona is a top 1% direct response marketer. You write from the intersection of educational content and also sales. I want you to write about this product. Here's all the product details. These are the pain points and the outcomes that the user, our target customer wants. Here's the target customer persona and profile. The output that I'm going to get from that is like top 10, top 1%. Like it's going to be unbelievable. And so I think that this is where this gets like important is the language that you have that is unique to your, I mean, this is why it gets like, okay, for example, like I did this like webinar demo, like showing how to use like Claude Code to do the whole Facebook ads management piece via the Facebook ads API. I have technical knowledge about how to run Facebook ads. So I can describe like, okay, I want you to spin these up in a brand new ad set underneath the conversion campaign that's titled XYZ. Here's the like specific campaign ID that I want you to do it in. The conversion event that I want you to like opt. So that language, right, enables me to get the agent to do the thing that I'm looking for like so much more effectively. But previously it was just like, it was kind of these like they called them agents, but it was like a workflow, like it was linear. And now it's like, oh, I can do these circular loops where it's like I keep thinking about it as like it's like a cockroach, right? It like goes out and kind of feels around, and then it gets stimulus from its environment, and then it reacts. Like that's how like bugs work, right? It's just like simple nervous systems, and we can do that same thing. But it's like, okay, I do things, I analyze what's working, I do less of what isn't, I do more of what is, and I just repeat that cycle over and over again. And like when you think about growth, especially when you look at e-commerce companies, like that's a huge piece of this. And that's how we're seeing companies use us, right? It's like, you know, they connect their Klaviyo, they connect their Shopify, they connect their Facebook ads, their Google ads, like any data source that they have within their stack. And then it's basically, okay, how am I creating like that loop that I was historically doing or doing, a version of it where I was downloading a spreadsheet and analyzing like what's the fastest, what product is having a faster like month over month growth rate within my, or what are the fastest growing products within my catalog as an example. Like we have a friend that's on the product and she's got like, I think it's like 20,000 SKUs in her like her store. And she's like, I don't even know, like they have a catalog that's like cups, right? They're in the wedding category. It's like, she's like, I don't even know what cups, like what 7-ounce cups are like selling. Like, can I just like tell me like what are the best sellers and what are like the fastest growing SKUs like within that, right? And she's like, I can't get this information from like Shopify. Like there's not like an easy way for me to do that and then build reporting on it. And that for her is like, oh, cool. Like we saw that these top 10, like these 10 out of whatever, we'll say the 500 that she had, they're producing 80% of the revenue. What do they have in common? How can we double down on them? Oh, for half of them, we're not even running ads to them. This is all just fucking organic. Like, let's go and shift ad budget over. Hey, Claude, go shift that ad budget to these.
Yeah.
It's done. Like, that's again, I just think about, and it's going to be so much more impactful probably in your guys' space. Cause for anything in software, it's like way more like, it's not as clear cut, right? Like I don't put $1 in and whatever, $5 comes out. It's harder to measure that. But anything that has like a very transparent unit economics, it's so much easier to build on top of this. And then the challenge where this fast forwards to though, is like, how do you differentiate it when it gets to that place? Right. So it's like, okay, you're a brand that's competing in a category. If everybody can do this now, like how do you become different? How do you become unique? And that's where like that's where the magic starts happening now. Is like that differentiation, like your unique skill sets that enable you to outperform everybody else. Again, I don't know. Like I think this is just going to become the standard. We're seeing this already. The one thing that I will say is that like there's so many of these tools right now that are like, yo, we'll run your Facebook ads for you automatically, your Google ads for you automatically. They are all of them like it's very rare. I've seen only one out of like the 25 that we've looked at that are actually using a data warehouse. And so you're going to have that data like problem because it's just, it's interacting directly with the API and it's like querying the API, which is just like, it's not going to be accurate whatsoever.
You're going to hit limits. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to hit a bunch of stuff.
It's because the APIs like aren't built for this, right? Like literally, like we have a client, like they spend 180 grand a month on Facebook ads. All right. Like, if they just tried to get that information from Facebook ads, like via the API, like they could maybe get like a couple hours. And at that point, it would be so much data that there's just like no way you have to like solve this problem of like pipeline, warehouse, teaching the agent how to interact with it. So anyways, happy to answer any questions about any of this though. Or just even say, here's the shit that I'm seeing people do that I'm like, I'll give you one. So my brother is in the healthcare space, right? They're on MailChimp, hate MailChimp, 120K. Right?
All right.
Absolutely hate MailChimp.
He's on MailChimp. Hates MailChimp.
It's just like, he's like, I've got all these flows. Like it's like a digital health thing. Over the weekend, showed him Claude Code like 2 weeks ago. He's pretty technical. Like he studied data science in college and like he now runs an ops. But anyways, over the weekend, he texts me and he's like, I just moved everything from MailChimp to Klaviyo just entirely via APIs. All context, all flows, all campaign templates, everything.
Wow.
He's like, the switching cost for me, like to do that traditionally was I didn't do this for the last 2 years. He's like, in 48 hours, this has now changed. Now, if I'm a company and I hear that, right? Like a software company, think about that. Like they just like ripped out MailChimp and put in Klaviyo, right? Like in a weekend, one person did that in a weekend.
Yeah, that's
right?
wild. So
suddenly, like that lock-in, I don't think people are ready for what's like about to happen with this. So that's what's possible. It's like the cost, the opportunity cost to do these things has now gone to zero. Like, and also it's like wherever the best software is from like an API standpoint and like from a capability standpoint, like that's going to be the winners in this from a long-term perspective. So anyway,
Chris, I mean, you always probably saw that at Bruce Bolt where you would have to evaluate that switching cost, where that would be super expensive with multiple softwares all the time. Yeah. And then you would have to basically have that conversation with the exec board and they would be like, we can't do this. My hands are tied. I can't rationalize the switching cost.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's always a nightmare because
It's a
how
nightmare.
long is it going to take to move over? And then what are we going to lose in between? And then how long is it going to take to spin up? And I mean, to be able to do something like that within 48 hours is
Like no
insane.
downtime. And it's not like it's a small list. And it's like a company, like if they, like their whole, funnel is like ads and like organic to a lead magnet to like email. Email drives all of their revenue, right? Like it's like that's the whole thing. It's like an info product kind of category, right? In the health category. And like when he's like, I can't have downtime like that. Literally, it's just like money that we aren't making.
Yeah.
He's just he's gonna flip the switch. Just gonna be like one day, like it's just like did this change? And I think they're going through this week. I haven't talked to him since this, but like it's like cool. I'm gonna just like probably next weekend, like we're just gonna flip the switch, and now it's running. No downtime, no like loss. His team doesn't even like care or know. Like
maybe they didn't even know.
I mean, it's insane. Like literally, it's actually insane when you think about like. I mean, that's like hour. That's like that's so much.
That's days.
That's so much.
That's days.
Mental energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like all to your point, like mistakes always happen, and he's like literally like it. Are we are we 1-to-1 as matched as we can be with this move over? And it's like, yeah, like let me go through and I'll audit everything. I'm going to look at your entire account and I'm going to audit the entire structure. And then he told me, he's like, it found that like the form that we use like wasn't connected right to Klaviyo. And it's like, oh, you need to make this change. Like I can't for you. Like you need to go into WordPress and just like update this setting for me. And it's like, just insane, man. So anyway, but yeah, any other questions I can try to answer? I know it's just been a monologue for the last.
Well, and I'm glad that it has been. What I would love, Cody, I mean, I think you've mentioned some incredible principles about conversing with said Claude, hey, this is where I want to go. I'm not trying to prescribe you. Help me get here. How do I get there? There's been some great things that you've mentioned throughout. You've mentioned Facebook, specifically ecom, email, etc. And top of your head, if you're talking to, let's say, mid 7 figures or healthy 8 figures, founder or director of marketing, etc., what are the top things that you're telling him now? Hey, get inside of Claude. Stop being afraid. Don't be afraid. Get inside of Claude. Here's your first top 3, top 5 use cases. These need to be running for you and beginning to be harnessed and automated now.
Yeah, I think the first thing. So I always tell people like audit like what you're doing like on a daily basis that you hate doing, and like what's the biggest time suck, and start there. For a lot of e-com companies, it's like making creative, getting the creative live, and analyzing the creative. Right. Yeah. Like those are like, especially if you run on Facebook or TikTok, like in particular, absolute time suck can be that. That's the initial thing that I would focus on. It's like, okay, like how do I give it access to a VO3 key, like a Sora 2 API key and Nano Banana, and then like give it some style guide documents of here's the brand. And then like I'm just using this to do bulk ad generation, right?
Yeah.
That is kind of the first like piece of this. After that, then Facebook ads API key. If you don't know how to do this, just like literally like ask Claude, like I need a Facebook ads marketing API key. Can you walk me through this? It's going to tell you the URLs to go through. It's going to tell you the permissions. Way to jump the curve on that. Make you have to make what's like a Facebook app. You can do one that's like developer only. So you don't have to go through the authorization process with Facebook, like for the credentialing. So it enables you to just like, oh, I'm only using this internally. So just a way to do that. And then the next piece is like set up the data analysis like standpoint. You don't have to like use us for this. What this ends up being is data pipeline, data warehouse, way for the agent to interact with your information, right?
Yeah.
You can set up those 3 things, that gets handled. And then at that point, like you got the virtuous cycle right there. It's just like, I can make content, I can publish content, I can analyze content, or I can analyze ads. I can then turn off losers. I can promote winners. I can manage the entire, like you, what I'm describing, like you would never have to touch the Facebook ads backend dashboard ever again.
Which would be a miracle. It'd be a miracle.
I mean, throw somebody in there that's never like done it, or like, holy shit, like what is this?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
With the spaceship, like it's insane.
Spaceship.
It's crazy. And I think that's
crazy.
Like that, like I've told that to other friends that are in like, paid media. And they're like, oh my God, like that alone is just
Yeah.
like massive, right? And that's just like I'm just publishing and turning stuff off and on. When you get that whole stack together, though, it's just exactly what you're doing. You're just mimicking that again with like these agents, and the agents are doing the work for you. Like you're just thinking, and the agents go and do stuff, and you're thinking, and the agents go and do stuff, and like again, you polish or whatever. Like you're kind of the other piece of this too is like creating the boundaries. I actually think this is the best way to do this based off of our experience. Is you give, like, it's very hard to be like, agent, do this, and then it does it right. It's way easier to be like, here are all the no's that you can't do. And then that suddenly that creates surface area for it to live in, where it's like, yes, exists.
I see.
Yeah.
And that is going to create an output that's way better. Like it's because you're like, okay, go do this thing. It has the boundary of the no's.
Yeah.
And this is actually like pretty hard for companies. Like when you tell them this, like what are the things, like what are the lines in the sand?
Yeah. What are
around all this? And then, but once you do that, I mean, and we did this with our code base. Like we basically, like my co-founder Max hasn't written a line of code in the last 3 weeks. Like he just told me this. It's like, I haven't written a feature. Like everything has been written by like an agent, basically like a coding agent. And that's not like saying that we're not having like unbelievable code shipped. Like when you look at like what we're doing, like features
looking at it,
it's pushed to a PR. The PR then like spins up an environment. Claude Code checks it to make sure it like basically checks the PR.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, this is messed up. Let me go make those modifications. It passed the tests. The PR environment like gets spun up so that a human can go and look at it if they want. Merge. That whole thing just happens. He's like, I talked to him over the weekend, and he's like, what it's turned into now is like, I am like focusing on a hard product feature. And then I have like 5 other product features that are being worked on by the agents in the background. And then I just kind of like, when they need me, they pull me in, and I like will give them context, and I go back to the hard thing that like I need to think more about for the agent to be able to actually do this. Take that same philosophy, apply that to your marketing and your growth. And like, this is how I think ecom, like if you're, ecom founder like this, and you're especially if you're on a come up, like this is a generational run that's like literally just landed in your lap right now. Like all you have to do is spend like literally an hour like learning how to use this stuff, and it's going to change your entire like just your entire workflow. So anyway,
incredible.
I mean, Chris, I think just from an opportunity standpoint, a freelancer or an agency guy that learns how to do all this and then just
so valuable
and just approaches e-commerce companies like, hey, how have you used AI at all? And they're like, well, we use Google Gemini. And it's like, no, seriously, how do you use AI for your company? And they're like, we haven't.
I think you can make 80 grand a month as a freelancer easily.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Like easily. Wow. And do the work of like probably 500 people. Like if you have saying,
golly, seriously,
like for real. Like I don't think that is like an unreasonable thing. Like and honestly, like I have friends that are doing this where they're like doing fractional growth work and like that. And it's like, the leverage that they have now, especially when they have like repeatable processes, because like a lot of this is the same shit. It's like I'm making ads.
That's freaking wild.
I'm publishing ads. I'm analyzing ads, like what's working for the ads, right? It just turns into this massive leverage point. Also from the business side, like the business owner side, like just imagine having all of your information like in a place that you can be like, we're down 17% last week, right? Or this week or whatever, right? What happened? Like look at all the data, what happened? And then you spend 4 hours and you just like go deep on this. Like we literally did this like 2 days ago for our SEO like campus. And by the end of it, I'm like, holy shit. Like that was like 100 hours of work. Like that I would have to do manually historically. I found things I didn't even realize. And then I also just like discovered like, oh, here's all of these other opportunities. It just gives you this like cellular understanding of your business. That historically was just like impossible. And like some teams have this already where they have like a data team, right? And that's great. That's awesome. I've like talked to these people, right? Like I'm just thinking one guy in particular worked at this huge brand, like accounted for 20% of the revenue was SEO organic on a monthly basis, right? He had a data question, asked us. This is actually the origin of Graft, was like this conversation. Had a data question, asked us, and we couldn't answer. And I was like, what's your process look like to actually get an answer to this? And he's like, well, I submit a request to our data team. It takes 3 to 5 business days. If I have a follow-up request, it takes another 3 to 5 business days. And I just like, I remember just like literally open jaw, like slack jaw sitting there.
It's terrible.
Like, he makes 1/5 of their revenue. Like his hands alone account for 1/5 of their revenue on a monthly basis, right? And that person literally is not asking the data questions that makes it so that they can do their job more effectively, because they don't have the bandwidth to actually answer those questions. And this is universal. Like if you have a data team, who always goes to the top of the list? It's the founder and the finance team. Always, 100%. Right? And then if you're anybody else that's like driving revenue or any of these other pieces, whether it's sales, marketing, customer experience, product, whatever that is, right? Like you go to the back of the list because you're just the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to that. And it's one of the most constrained resources, because when you look at like a data engineer historically, like their salaries are like 180 to 220 or 180 to 250, depending on like where you're looking at and how good they are, right? And so it's like, cool, like you need 3 of those to be able to answer the questions of a 150 person team. Fuck no, you're not hiring those salaries. Wow. And so anyway, especially for like smaller teams where it's like, oh, you're 10 people and you're running lean as an e-com company. Like this is the easiest, fastest way for you to get just unbelievable alpha just about your own business. Like we're not even talking about like the external. It's just like what is happening internally. So anyways, but I can go for hours about this, guys. Anything else I can try to help on or to share?
I have to like put my computer in an ice bath because there's so much heat coming off my computer right now from the absolute sauce you're dropping on us.
I feel like I'm shouting into the ether sometimes. So
yeah, that's what we need. We need more of that heat, that energy, Cody.
Dude, have me back on in like 3 or 6 months or whatever, and we just give a state of the union of what we're seeing. Like this is going to change so quick. And like 6 weeks ago, I was of the opinion that agents were overhyped, and now I'm of the opinion that like this is literally like I think go to market is going to be run by agents by the end of this year for the most sophisticated companies. Like you're going to plug into, like you're going to build this brain, this marketing brain, and like your job is to build the best product possible and the right product. And I think e-commerce people understand this better than software people actually. E-com knows how to like sell what the market wants to buy. Software now it's so funny. I had this conversation last week or 2 weeks ago. A friend, he's a PM at like a large org, and I'm like, are people using Cloud Code? And he's like, everybody is, Cody. And I'm like, cool. What are they building? And he's like, so much stuff. And I'm like, do people want it? And I'm like, no. He's like, no, they don't want it. They're building things that people don't want because they suddenly have unlimited bandwidth to do this, right? Yeah. Engineering used to be the constraint. And so software is having this moment right now where it's like, okay, well, how do I build the right thing when I can build anything? I think e-com is so much better at this because it's physical constraints. Right. And the cost of code is going to zero. The cost of inference is like getting, staying relatively the same, but the cost of intelligence is like, it's decreasing, right? Like a great example of this. So Cloud Code or Opus 4.6 releases. 3 months later, an open source model out of China drops and it's 1/20th the cost. And when you turn the temperature all the way down on it and ask it, who are you? It's like, I'm Claude Opus 4.6. So they trained this open source model on the frontier model. And in 90 days later, it shipped. And it's 1/20th the cost as the core model.
That's right? Crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. And let's just assume that's happened 3 cycles now. Let's just assume that continues to happen, right? Yeah. So these things are going to get smarter. It's going to become more abundant. Like I'm having to like unbound what my personal constraints and beliefs are on like what's possible. Like I'm like, we keep talking about it like token abundance. I have unlimited tokens like that. Like, how do I think from that perspective so that like we are, again, just the constraints that used to be here are entirely different. So again, I think e-com founders are actually positioned really well for this because like if you're just hyper focused on product and can figure out these systems to do these other pieces, like it's very likely over the next like 12 to 24 months that it gets to a place where it's like, yeah, this thing's just like running your growth side. Like it's making decisions on your Klaviyo, your flows, your nurtures, like your SEO decisions, your Facebook ads decisions, your Google ad decisions. Well, how do I allocate the budget, et cetera? And then like your job is like, how do I make the best product possible that like is what the market wants to buy? So anyway,
wow. Cody Schneider, ladies and gentlemen.
Cody Schneider.
My goodness.
Guys.
That Superman marketer extraordinaire, you have to come back 3 to 6
Absolutely.
months.
We'd love to come back and share what we're seeing. So
friends don't let friends use in 8N. Wow.
It's so fragile, man. Like, this is the thing, is that like, okay, so if I wanted to make a change to that N8N, like the observability, like if I wanted to, like I wanted to make a small modification on like its requirements, it's so much easier to do that with code now than it is with these no code tools. And like, this is where all of this is going, right? Like, I think that is like the epiphany that I've come to, is like, I can do it faster. And like, for example, we have this team member, unbelievable at his job. And like, it is an agency that like I own in this portfolio. And like, we're like, it's almost faster to just go straight to code now, even though he's unbelievable. So we're like, okay, can we get him to be in that, or like give him the tools to do that instead of, because it's also like, I want it, like, cool, he does that initial work, that agent now lives, but I can go and modify it myself, right? And so we're having to like rethink the structure of like, these people that historically would be invaluable to a company, that are like unbelievable at, for example, the automation side or whatever. So anyways, but we'll leave it there. Boys, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, sir.
Cody.
Thanks for coming,
Absolutely.
Cody. We look forward to having you back, man.
Wow. Incredible.